Hello everyone, my name is Lowko and welcome to a new Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls video. Today we're going to be discussing the build that a lot of wizards, including me, have been using to actually clear Torment number 1 and 2, and one of the most popular wizards builds right now in Diablo 3. As most of you will know, recently there was a really big patch that got released, and also obviously the Reaper of Souls expansion, and it's really important to actually take a look at your wizard build once more and change accordingly where it turns out to be necessary. Even though the expansion is only a couple of days old as of making this video, I've actually had no issues whatsoever grinding Torment number 1 and 2, either solo or in a group. There is no real gear requirement for this build whatsoever. You can just sort of copy this straight up, and I will show you quickly how to have a playstyle that is suitable for this as well. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the game. So first a quick overview of my gear. Unbuffed, I'm currently at 860,000 DPS. If you want me to make a gearing guide, let me know in the comment section right below that like button. But buffed, as you can see, I'm actually at 1.1 million currently. And this is the build that I've been using lately. First of all, we have Electrocute with Surge of Power. This is just a really good spell to grind up a lot of arcane power. We don't really use this one very actively, unless it turns out to be necessary and we need more arcane power, which turns out to be quite often because of the second skill that we use, which is Arcane Orb with Frozen Orb. This is going to be the main damage dealing ability in your skills, and this is going to be one of the most important ones to keep up and the one that will deal the most damage as well. The third skill that I got is Archon with Improved Archon. Now this is actually up for a little bit of change if you would like to. I've personally been enjoying Improved Archon a lot, but you could also go with Teleport for example, or you could even go with Black Hole and maybe something like Absolute Zero, which also deals bonus damage to cold spells, and obviously that will sync very well together with the Arcane Orb. However, I've been having a lot of success with the Archon, Improved Archon, so that is what I'm going to keep it at, but this one you can actually mess around with a little bit and change to your preference. Next, the Familiar. Now the Familiar is just straight up a damage boost for us. We use Spark Flint, summon a fiery familiar that grants 10% increased damage. Just keep this one up at all times. The fifth skill is going to be Magic Weapon with Force Weapon. This is also just a straight up damage increase for us, and that is obviously what we really like to do. Once more, keep this one up at all times. In the sixth skill slot, I'm using Energy Armor with Pinpoint Barrier. This is also just a straight up damage increase. However, you could also go with Storm Armor and maybe something like Power of the Storm, which will allow you to spam more. This is kind of depending on your arcane power regeneration. However, I like to run with Pinpoint Barrier. Once more, this is also something you want to keep up at all times. Next, let's go over the actual passive skills that I'm using. I'm using Unwavering Will, Glass Cannon, Prodigy, and Astral Presence. Now there is a couple of things that you could change right here if you want. For example, a lot of high level wizards are running Audacity or things like Blur if you want to try at a higher level of Torment, or maybe even Invocation if you really need the extra cooldown on your Archon. It kind of depends on what you want, but these are the ones that I am running. So once more, it's going to be Unwavering Will, Glass Cannon, Astral Presence, and Prodigy. As far as playstyle goes, I want to keep my Familiar up at all times, Magic Weapon, as well as Energy Armor. These three abilities I am constantly rebuffing to make sure that they are active at all times, and these are also the ones that actually boost my damage to all the way up to 1.1 mil. When it comes to clearing out trash, you should probably always use your Arcane Bolt first. The Arcane Bolt with the Frost Orb is extremely strong. It'll actually up your damage significantly, and it also deals AoE damage, which will allow you to just simply plow through minions absolutely no problem. Sometimes you will see a big minion like this, and you will actually need to kite back a little bit so they don't go after you, but in general you will have a ton of DPS with this, and you will be able to nuke them down quite efficiently. Whenever you're out of arcane power, simply just use your left mouse button, which is Electrocute, to regenerate it. As you can see, it goes up incredibly fast. Keep in mind, the cooldown for Archon is quite long. It is actually 120 seconds, so you want to be using this as efficiently as possible. I usually tend to use it as soon as I see a elite pack, or maybe a treasure goblin, or anything that needs the extra damage. If you manage to get gloves by an opponent, make sure to actually use the melee attack of the Archon ability, but if there's a lot of mobs out and you need to use AoE, just simply right click and beam them down. Keep in mind, even though your damage output is very high, you need to make sure you're kiting back as much as possible, so the enemies clump up, but also so you can get out of the way if it turns out to be necessary, because your health pool won't be very high as a wizard and you will take a ton of damage. You're quite literally a glass cannon. So once more an overview of all abilities. It is Electrocute with Surge of Power, Arcane Orb with Frozen Orb, Archon with Improved Archon, Familiar with Spark Flint, Magic Weapon with Force Weapon, Energy Armor with Pinpoint Barrier, Unwavering Will, Glass Cannon, Prodigy and Astral Presence. So yeah, that is pretty much it. If you have any suggestions or comments or anything that you would like to let me know right below that like button in the comment section below the video, and I would love to read your response. Other than that, if you enjoy these type of videos and you're interested in more Diablo 3 content as well as other video games, make sure to actually hit that subscribe button right below the video. It will actually give you a little notification as soon as I upload new content, and obviously there's going to be much more Diablo 3 to come. So I want to thank you guys all for watching. Have an amazing day, do not forget to smile, and I will see you in the next video. Hello everyone, my name is Lowko and today is March 25th. What does this mean? Well,